And that is a very good sign if you are a fan of the Team Liquid side. Waylander has someone away naked 47, but in comes the cavalry to try to reclaim that.
That's awkward.
The bailiffs are coming, James.
I wonder if what the American term for a bailiff is.
Yeah, I just think about that. I have no idea.
Repo man.
Is it? Bailiff sounds much more scary actually, because it sounds much more.
There was a wrestler called Repo Man once back in the day.
Because that kind of sounds like a budget superhero, doesn't it? Repo Man.
Repo Man.
Coming to take all your goods because you're bankrupt.
JDM's got a superhero chin. He could be Repo Man.
Let's go with Bailiff. Much more. I think it's more eloquent.
12-9 when Flipside return to a buy round. No sniper rifle for them. That's important on the CT side of a Cobblestone. Instead, well, that it has a M4 and a smoke grenade. Everyone has a smoke. That's quite important for the CT side. And again, it seems Liquid have a big focus on the B bomb site. They've got no lurkers. It looks like this is going to be a fast one. Up front, only good for the one kill, blind for the second one. He will be traded by a twist. Markelov around the statue position, but what can he do? He's hiding behind the top past that.
Yeah, that is a devious tactic, isn't it? Very cunning, very sly, but how long can Markelov survive? As now he tries to work the FAMAS, but against the AK, it just pales in comparison. A 3v2 here now for Liquid with presence on the bomb site and a bomb to be planted. They have the space to do so, but they're going to hold their ground a little bit. There's a lot to be said for having all the time in the world and trying to say, you know what, we're going to just get even better positions. We're going to wait to see if the CTs do something. We've got 3 players with guns out looking for those frags. Now finally though, as Flipside have said, look, we're not going to push until you plant the bomb. Liquid are forced to do so. So good decision making backwards and forwards from either side. Now as the 3v2 retake is the reality for Flipside, and it's not a reality they favor, and they will back away, which is the sensible thing here, but a hard pill to swallow.
Back that ass up. That's what DDK says in the club.
Is it though, James?
I don't know.
I've never seen you in a club.
I've no idea. No.
So I don't know if you have spies following me around or exactly where you're getting this information, but it seems questionable, much like your protractor habits.
Liquid, they're making a good run to winning this. There's only been one round won for the Flipside in this half. They won round number 4 by defuse. And since then, they have been missing. They've been on the milk cartons when they'd rather be drinking champagne.
I have to say, I really like the approach in this round. We see Zeus is the guy that goes first. It's very unexpected to see someone drop the Molotov to rush through, drop the smoke into the Molotov to rush through and basically create a rush timing. They sacrifice Zeus, which makes a lot of sense. And then they have a perfect pop flash for the players on Broken Wall, which completely opened up the site. That was actually a very, very cool round from Liquid and something you don't see done in that style all too often. So, yeah, that was beautiful. That was a really beautiful attack. Pop flashes. I'm loving the flashbang statistics we're getting out of HLTV as well.
Yeah.
That's actually really, really fun to see because it's a lot of work figuring out good flashes. And there is a big difference between players on how well they can and cannot use utility and teams in general. Shoutouts to HLTV.
Just the one flash now onto Flipside Tactics, and they better hope it's the best flash of all time. Although, to be honest with you, I think the odds are low that it will be dead. I think the odds are low. Flipside are more or less spread out in a traditional fashion at present, not necessarily trying to make best use of what little they have with these 2 rifles. But Liquid are taking it slow. And again, beyond that one flashbang for Flipside, there aren't any smokes. There isn't really anything else to try and delay Liquid, apart from bodies, trying to sell a stack on one site when they're in fact going to the other. But now with 35 seconds left, Flipside are moving to stack the B bomb site. Unfortunately, they're making a mistake.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking, isn't it? I mean, this is not really a time for a round to go like this for them, and it is somewhat of a gamble, and this is the problem of playing cobblestone. Sometimes you have to just take some gambles and just hope that you can be in a position which works for you, and you can see that they are just relegated to a save, and there's nothing they can do. And again, that's cobblestone for you, and Liquid will move comfortably to the 14th round, and it's been a very tough half so far for Flipside. They've gained a victory in only a single round, and again, if we consider what that round was, that was a round where Liquid favorably took the A bomb site, favorably set up a 3v3 post plant, but still lost 3 individual 1v1s. That's kind of an extraordinary situation to lose in that way. So Flipside have not shown us that they have been able to win CT rounds with any degree of confidence or consistency so far.
Liquid slowly heading to round number 14, trying to take these rifles away as best they can, but well, that is the princess in the tower.
That's actually kind of insane. He risked losing his gun there, James. They don't have the money to do that.
Yeah,
he's a slap on the wrist.
It is a foolish endeavor, considering your opponent is trying to find you to shoot you.
It doesn't care if he dies.
Don't really, yeah. Well, did it? Princess in the tower, Dan. And I was going to say, but there may be no Mario to save them. 9 to 14. Flipside now at maximum. Oh no, not even, but next round they will be, should they not prove successful. But it may be too much money too late. Does that even make sense? Well, then does he re-aggress? He's not Blade having a look. He can run distractions, but there are too many numbers now. Well, then misses his second shot. Blade's had his bell rung in the meantime, but he will land a kill. But what can he do? Nitro is around the corner very quickly indeed. And maybe Zeus being in-game leader is helping Nitro get into these positions. Well, Dedet has a shadow advantage on the low ground, but JDM's creeping on the high. There's flashbangs there as well. Force from his position. It's conceded now. If he goes back, he's surely dead.
Ooh, missing the Molotov as well. I wonder if that's an opportunity for a peek there from Flipside. Well, will try to get himself an angle as he looks to creep out the rat hole position through the fence. Now it's Elige. Finds a good timing onto Markelov. That is really painful to deal with. Elige is posing such threat, and again, Flipside just, they can't do anything. This has gone too poorly. They have to save what they have. Another round. This has just been such a, they're being just grinded down every round. And Elige is ruthless. The dogs have been sent out for the hunt, and it is just not a fair match, is it? Well, they're trying to survive here. Gets a leg, of course. That is so sad. However, that really sums up the CT side of Flipside here. 15 rounds for Liquid, 1 away. Yanko is the only guy who predicted Flipside, James. He is the one who got 4 predictions yesterday. Everyone else got 5 or 6. He's not got off to a good start here today if Flipside do in fact lose.
That's why we didn't hire analysts, Dan. Because they're not needed.
Whoa, shots fired.
Match point for Liquid. Flipside, are you going to turn up to this game? It's a full squad versus just a goalkeeper, and he can't keep the ball out of the nets. The net may explode after this round. Well, the net towards long. It's pretty much always played that position post-simple. Double AWPs now. Anders gets 1 round of joy.
Yeah, Markelov on the AWP. Someone call Anders. It's time to party. I'm sure the champagne's coming out already, but it may be short-lived.
Just want to add, like, well, that it can be found in other places as well, but I remember, like, this Flipside set up more or less from a very, very long time ago. Before people start tweeting me, you can be found him on B bomb site as well.
Markelov is going to be the anchor, essentially, with the AWP on that B bomb site. He's not going to have much assistance initially if the T side of Liquid rushes in right now. 2 members are sort of behind the drop zone in connector at the moment, and it's just Waylander. We saw him get destroyed by pop flashes in that position by Broken Wall previously. Markelov with the off angle there up the top of the stairs at the end of the plateau. There is a flash though, puts Markelov off the angle. That creates space for Team Liquid. Now Waylander's at big risk. Markelov can't really support him that well, but does find the headshot though. Good start from Markelov, but Waylander goes down.
Flip side slowly getting turned into burger meat at the moment. Can they hold on though? Can they escape the bat? 4 on 4. Markov is still alive. Almost close. There are 8 seconds for the bomb to go down. JDM, he surely can't win this round. He's got to go for the kills. Spamming the P250. But the inbox is full. Running out of bullets there. Doing what he can, but this won't be the round.
Awkward. Seemed like Liquid were a little bit too slow there, a little bit hesitant to just go in. Like, this position here is so perfect to just use that pop flash. Perhaps there was an issue with timing from the players who were trying to split from the drop zone. But yeah,
that first shot was nutty. The fact he doesn't take the bait of the bit of leg shown, then comes back and delivers the kill. Nice stuff, but can it continue? The 2 AWPs continue, seized onto the MP7 now. Again, fast fire rate for the drop zone. Will it be enough? Maybe we'll see. Zeus is going to be harassing towards the plateau, throwing some grenades there, while this time Liquid have a focus on A.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Now Liquid, they know, okay, they're playing double ops. Well, we have strategies in our books, in our playbook, to address this situation, and so the element of surprise, Mark may not be surprised for much longer, as JDM will get the trade onto World Edit, playing the A long position, and now that's Liquid trying to quickly move up onto the A site, looking for the entry frags, looking to smoke the relevant choke points there to make their way in, but they are being slowed down by some good counter grenades. But that's a very big peek from JDM. The trade is in from Twist. Zeus in with a nice headshot too. This is not a good look here for Flipside.
Running out of people, running out of time, and it's down to Markov to 1 versus 3 this. Everybody has passed the door. He's holding the angle, but nobody is going to serve themselves up. The flashbang gives his position away as the bomb gets planted. Going for some desperation pre-fire. How does he not get traded? He has to go for this. He has to push. He has to win. He's got to do it fast. He doesn't have a defuse kit. And Elige says no. The random fire will be punished at the end there. 16-10. And that second half was all Liquid.
Effectively winning just 2 rounds on that CT side. Flipside really starting to struggle there. And that's kind of what you expect on a cobblestone. They're going to have a fantastic T side most of the time, but it didn't go well enough. They needed a bigger T side, and it was fun to see Liquid sort of stabilize there and return to some of the basics. And I love some of the strats we saw out of them as well. That really fast play out of into B, where Zeus was really fast through, sacrificing himself, quick smoke onto the molly for a quick timing. I love those small things. Very simple. And that is a very good sign if you are a fan of the Team Liquid side. Waylander has someone away naked, 47, but in comes the cavalry to try to reclaim that.
That's awkward.
The bailiffs are coming, James.
I wonder if what the American term for a bailiff is.
Yeah, I just think about that. I have no idea.
Repo man.
Is it? Bailiff sounds much more scary actually, because it sounds much more.
There was a wrestler called Repo Man once back in the day.
Because that kind of sounds like a budget superhero, doesn't it? Repo Man.
Repo Man.
Coming to take all your goods because you're bankrupt.
JDM's got a superhero chin. He could be Repo Man.
Let's go with Bailiff. Much more. I think it's more eloquent.
12-9 when Flipside return to a buy round. No sniper rifle for them. That's important on the CT side of a cobblestone. Instead, well, that it has a M4 and a smoke grenade. Everyone has a smoke. That's quite important for the CT side. And again, it seems Liquid have a big focus on the B bomb site. They've got no lurkers. It looks like this is going to be a fast one. No, it's great for the up front. Only good for the 1 kill. Blind for the second one. He will be traded by a Twist. Markov around the statue position. But what can he do? He's hiding behind the top part stack.
Yeah, that is a devious tactic, isn't it? Very cunning, very sly, but how long can Markov survive? As now he tries to work the FAMAS, but against the AK, it just pales in comparison. A 3v2 here now for Liquid, with presence on the bomb site and a bomb to be planted. They have the space to do so, but they're going to hold their ground a little bit. There's a lot to be said for having all the time in the world and trying to say, you know what, we're going to just get even better positions. We're going to wait to see if the CTs do something. We've got 3 players with guns out looking for those frags. Now finally though, as Flipside have said, look, we're not going to push until you plant the bomb. Liquid are forced to do so. So good decision making backwards and forwards from either side. Now as the 3v2 retake is the reality for Flipside, and it's not a reality they favor, and they will back away, which is the sensible thing here, but a hard pill to swallow.
Back that ass up. That's what DDK says in the club.
Is it though, James?
I don't know.
I've never seen you in a club.
I have no idea. No.
So I don't know if you have spies following me around or exactly where you're getting this information, but it seems questionable, much like your protractor habits.
Liquid, they're making a good run to winning this. There's only been one round won to the flip side in this half. They won round number 4 by defuse, and since then they have been missing. They've been on the milk cartons when they'd rather be drinking champagne.
I have to say, I really like the approach in this round. We see Zeus is the guy that goes first. It's very unexpected to see someone drop the Molotov to rush through, drop the smoke into the Molotov to rush through and basically create a rush timing. They sacrifice Zeus, which makes a lot of sense. And then they have a perfect pop flash for the players on Broken Wall, which completely opened up the site. That was
It's a fake, it's a fake, it's a fake. Out of box! Go! Machine. No!
I think the scope did it, no joke.
Yeah, I think so too. It's perfect.
Nice job, good entries. I'm under heaven, so
Peek on your contact.
nice.
So before we break down that game, just a reminder, tickets are available for the E-League Major when we go over to Boston. Go to eleague.com/major for more of that, or you can search Ticketmaster for Boston Major. Right, guys, let's break down that match, and I'm going to start by saying, honestly, Flipside and plus Cobblestone could put Nightall out of business. I have gone down this road so many times. It's that terrorist side is just killing me, Yanko. The one silver lining coming out of watching that game is that your prediction was wrong. I'm happy about that, at least.
Ooh, yeah. Thank you, Richard. You just want to see me suffer. It's like, what, you're bored of doing it to Jason, so now you're switching to me?
Jason basically threatened
I'm
to walk
not as
out
easily
like
bullied, I'll say
Listen,
that.
I've won the
true.
championship of getting bullied. I still haven't snapped. I still haven't freaked out.
Let's definitely spread this rumor about me being a bully a bit more, right?
Not so on camera,
That'll help.
Jason. But the things we have to deal with in the green room, we live.
I guess the match hasn't started yet. Let me confirm.
Like, yes, that's kind of a good idea, but at the same time, there were a couple rounds in there where if he had had an M4 instead of a CZ, maybe he gets the kill instead of 0 kills, or 2 kills instead of 1 kill. So I almost
Yeah, not started yet.
put him behind the stronger players and put him in a position where he's kind of just more supportive and can bide his time for his fights.
So that's what was happening last time he was playing, actually.
Can do some deathmatch in the meantime. Hello, Forget What's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Much appreciated. Match will start soon, so stay tuned, guys. Don't think it's a clickbait. Match hasn't started yet.
Questions about them with how they've been performing with Zeus, and now C's is out. So what are your personal thoughts?
We've played each other quite a lot. We've won, we've lost. Last time we played them, it was in the DreamHack Winter Finals. They won, so we're kind of looking for revenge for that. We know each other's play style. We know what they like to do, what we like to do, and so on. So there's gonna be some mind games maybe going on, and just yeah, so it'll be a tough match.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robs, and best of luck today.
Yeah, phenomenal story there from Robs, the youngster that was kind of discovered through the FPL, the Face It Pro League pickup games, and was considered to be, you know, online, dubious, went to the offices, had to play under the watchful gaze of James Bardolph, who can spot, Jimmy B as he's known, who can spot a cheater a mile off, and turns out the kid was mustard. He was legit and was able to get into a pro team. But I mean, they just actually have a roster now that is packed with talent, Yanko.
Absolutely, you know, the change that they made during the summer, bringing in Stiko and Sunny, that was supposed to be what brings them to the next level, really getting them some maybe top 4 finishes, maybe even contention for some tournament wins, but it didn't really pan out. They were actually very quiet over that fall part of the season, only performing well at tournaments or at sunny locations. Mykonos and Cancun to top of the year, almost beat FaZe there in the grand final. So what's most interesting about Robs to me is usually when a young player breaks out, it's due to his mechanical skill, crazy aim, and then he learns how to, you know, play in a competitive environment. He has shown very early on to have very good game sense and actually really finding his footing in those clutch situations and so forth, which is very impressive for such a young and inexperienced player.
Yeah, and I think that's what really threw people off about him when he came on the scene. It was like, you're making all these right decisions consistently.
Surely he's a hacky boy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people were trying to say. But I mean, just a great mind for the game.
And it shows how much faith they have in that kind of that game sense early on, because a lot of positions, Mirage, Nuke, he plays by himself. They keep him alone, they keep him away from the team, and he's given a lot of freedom to make his own decisions based off what's happening with the rest of his squad. So that's very cool to see, and that's very exciting to watch him come through. I think also one of the underrated elements of Mousesports that doesn't too frequently get talked about, I really like LMBTQ as a coach. I think he's done really good teams with this lineup, or really good things with this lineup, especially when you consider he's kept them together and successful and moving forward after the departure of Nico. I know that storyline's kind of fading away now, but the fact that they even survived that is pretty impressive in and of itself.
And as I said, you can hear we've been obviously had all the players mic'd up, which I'm sure they're aware of, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to go too crazy. But in the heat of the moment, you lose it. But when I listen to this Mousesports team, the calm, communication, the consistency and clarity of their calls. And when you consider as well, this is a multinational lineup, you know, they're all using English to communicate with each other, which is all their second language. It really is amazing the transformation that Mouse Sports have undergone. But
Wait, I'll arrange a bigger screen on Twitch. I'll enable the display. Wait.
And this is an interesting one because actually they did use Simple as a stand-in for a tournament, and I was just wondering if Simple might have been able to take away something that he can maybe feed to Zeus. I don't know, but it gives this what would be a great game a little bit more of an interesting flavor.
Absolutely, it's an extra, you know, mind game to take into account. You know, at the very least, some of the players will say, "I'm gonna do this move," or you know, he knows maybe how some of them like to fold, or are they aggressive or passive, and so forth. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of insight. I don't think it's necessarily going to be what, you know, changes the whole game or decides the winner. But as I said in the pre-show, I think this is a very, very good opponent for Navi in terms of seeing where they're at. Right? Maybe against FaZe, you don't expect them to beat FaZe just yet, but Mouse Sports definitely a team they on paper should beat. So I'm looking forward to this one very much.
Yeah, Jason. So, some thoughts about this, because you know I'm inclined to agree with Yanko. I mean, I think on my predictions I went for Mouse, but because you know Na'Vi didn't look great yesterday. But this is a team that if you're a Na'Vi fan, you followed this team for a while. It's a team that you know not the old Na'Vi would beat for fun, right?
Yeah. And this team, I'm not entirely sure why.
Love the
outside
use
of
that word.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's not like outside of Simple, who's an incredible player, who's going to get his numbers no matter what, who's going to get his space no matter what. You have Flamey, who at one point was this incredibly gifted, skilled player. He was lighting up scoreboards as well. He was kind of like, you know, very, very good second star, and even emerging as kind of the lead star of this team. Phenomenal aim. You have Electronic, who's come in, who spent time under Blade and Flipside, and had this great breakout performance. And in many ways is similar to Rops in the sense that he's very mechanically gifted, very skilled, and neither of those two guys, like Electronic and Flamey, seem to be finding their groove right now, and that really worries me when you have two players who at points have like looked like they have the skill to just whatever they want, just take over a game, and they're not able to find any comfort in this squad, and that's really what worries me. Simple's going to get his, but they need other people to be around him.
Also, something that's very interesting about Electronic, when the camera is, I mean, just in general, he always looks so worried. He plays like his face, it's always like.
He's got like that Phelps look. Phelps always looks scared as well.
He's like worried about something.
Well, maybe he should be, because the veto's in. It's Mirage.
Oh God, that expression.
And that was Mouse's pick, and Na'Vi are going to be on the T side to start. Now, I'm super excited about this because I watched Mouse Sports, you know, play FaZe on this map. It was just an amazing game. So close for Mouse Sports, and you know, Na'Vi traditionally have been very, very good on this map, but maybe moved a little bit away from it. So, what are your first thoughts and reactions?
Also, Mouse Sports played it yesterday in their game against Avangar. So, you know, if you change stuff, you probably had to show it, or most of it in that game. So that's good for Na'Vi. But this is a map where, okay, different lineups at Cologne. Na'Vi.
And that is a very good sign if you are a fan of the Team Liquid side. Willander has someone away there, 47, but in comes the cavalry to try to reclaim that.
That's awkward.
The bailiffs are coming, James.
I wonder if what the American term for a bailiff is.
Yeah, I just think about that. I have no idea.
Repo man.
Is it? Bailiff sounds much more scary, actually, because it sounds much more.
There was a wrestler called Repo Man once back in the day.
Because that kind of sounds like a budget superhero, doesn't it? Repo Man.
Repo Man.
Coming to take all your goods because you're bankrupt.
JDM's got a superhero chin. He could be Repo Man.
Let's go with Bailiff. Much more. I think it's more eloquent.
12-9 when Flipside return to a buy round. No sniper rifle for them. That's important on the CT side of Cobblestone. Instead, well, that it has a M4 and a smoke grenade. Everyone has a smoke. That's quite important for the CT side. And again, it seems Liquid have a big focus on the B bomb site. They've got no lurkers. It looks like this is going to be a fast one. Up front, only good for the one kill, blind for the second one. He will be traded by a twist. Markelov around the statue position, but what can he do? He's hiding behind the top part stack.
Yeah, that is a devious tactic, isn't it? Very cunning, very sly, but how long can Markelov survive? As now he tries to work the FAMAS, but against the AK, it just pales in comparison. A 3v2 here now for Liquid with presence on the bomb site and a bomb to be planted. They have the space to do so, but they're going to hold their ground a little bit. There's a lot to be said for having all the time in the world and trying to say, you know what, we're going to just get even better positions. We're going to wait to see if the CTs do something. We've got 3 players with guns out looking for those frags. Now finally though, as Flipside have said, look, we're not going to push until you plant the bomb. Liquid are forced to do so. So good decision making backwards and forwards from either side. Now as the 3v2 retake is the reality for Flipside, and it's not a reality they favor, and they will back away, which is the sensible thing here, but a hard pill to swallow.
Back that ass up. That's what DDK says in the club.
Is it though, James?
I don't know.
I've never seen you in a club.
I have no idea, no.
So I don't know if you have spies following me around or exactly where you're getting this information, but it seems questionable, much like your protractor habits.
Liquid, they're making a good run to winning this. There's only been one round won for the flip side in this half. They won round number 4 by defuse. And since then, they have been missing. They've been on the milk cartons when they'd rather be drinking champagne.
I have to say, I really like the approach in this round. We see Zeus is the guy that goes first. It's very unexpected to see someone drop the Molotov to rush through, drop the smoke into the Molotov to rush through and basically create a rush timing. They sacrifice Zeus, which makes a lot of sense. And then they have a perfect pop flash for the players on Broken Wall, which completely opened up the site. That was... Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Boost Mobile Casting Desk. I'm almost thrown off because in America they say mobile, but I feel like that'd be a big betrayal to my identity, James.
We just cannot do it. Mobile all the way. Mobile home. Anyway. On to the next match.
Anyway, yes, Counter-Strike. It's going to be very interesting here. We have Mousesports and Na'Vi. This seems to be a big point of contention, as I mentioned earlier, between a lot of people. It seems to be a hard decision to make, which way you go. For me, it's an easy one, but I feel like as though perhaps, with that run we recently saw from Mousesports in Cancun, that is perhaps what really brings me into favoring Mousesports as opposed to, Na'Vi, who have been struggling for form. They did have that DreamHack Open, DreamHack Winter very recently, where they did perform very well, but it was that same story again, James. It was simple deciding they were going to win. Will he decide Na'Vi will win here today?
Look, man, it's Mirage. It's Simple versus Oscar. You could not ask for a better scenario, in my opinion, which is correct, of course. Everybody for Na'Vi in the apartments. They have a flashbang on Zeus. He's at the back, so he's going to be throwing it over the wall, as you can see, while they head to the window. So they need to avoid that engagement. Here comes the flashbang, Seiko avoiding it. That smoke grenade will allow his teammates to come through the door if he can hold that position. He's got his teammate on short as well. The crossfire is there. So what do the T's do if they're trying to force their way through the smoke? Not going to work out for Edward though. Seiko's still trying to hold it down, doing a great job. 2 kills for him. In the meantime, we've got players coming through from the market position. Rops delivering a kill onto Zeus, and it's Oscar on the high ground. Makes it really hard to plant the bomb, but that can't be the focus now. 2 versus 4. There are CTs everywhere.
I like this. They're going to try to take control of the kitchen. They know they're outnumbered. They have to make a play for frags, and they can't do it. And as you said, Stico, he did a wonderful job getting those 2 initial frags. It's very difficult to do with a USP at this close range, but look how he set it up around the side of the smoke. That is not just calm, it is preparation in that scenario on the fly. So credit to Stico for anchoring the bomb site there. It's one of those situations when the B-bomb site, you're up on the B-bomb site attack, you have to get the numbers advantage as the CTs to really even things out, because it's so hard to push through the choke points if the Ts have just enough players to cover everything. So it worked out very well for Mousesports, and now Simple's got himself a deagle into the next round. And he used to be guaranteed a frag every time back in the days. Let's see if Simple's still good for it.
Mousesports focusing on the middle area for the time being. Chris J, Oscar, and Sunny, they're deep in mid. Keeping an eye on all the things. Oscar with a scout is great to watch as well. Ooh. Will that be his friend though, or will it be his enemy? Fortunately for him, Oscar is not towards jungle, so he can't see through the corner of that smoke. Flamey taken down towards a ramp. Stico jump peeking in B. And there's a two-man play, sorry, there's a three-man play, including the bot. But what can they do? They still don't have any kills yet. The flashbang is there, but Stico's the one to go down.
This is actually very scary because if they can do enough on the side to keep them distracted, Simple's coming in with the flank with a deagle. So there is a lot of danger here, lurking in the shadows, but they must survive on the bomb site to allow Simple to be effective, but they cannot hold for enough time. If they could just buy Simple an extra 5 or 10 seconds, he could maybe have helped them to win the round, but instead they have the bomb do Mousesports, and they don't really have any impetus to move from their positions, and I'm sure they'll give Simple the level of respect that he deserves as a player. And they will not waver. Simple, though, gets a good opening, sees the bomb, picks up the M4 as well. Where are the remaining two players? So that's the big question. That's the big ask. He has no Kevlar. He has no time. But so far, Mousesports almost have no players left. Very good effort there from Simple and the rest of his team to do so much damage in a position where they had almost no investment.
Yeah, so you see Simple moving here, but you can also see on the radar that Sunny is already in apartments, and his position stops the bomb from going down. You can see him there in the corner of Rob's screen. Sunny's position on the high ground really shuts things down before Simple can be activated, but great damage done from Na'Vi, and around where you couldn't really expect much to be done. They got a lot out of that, and it seems that they're going to go for a force buy around this. 2 AKs and a bunch of pistols. They've got grenades that can allow them to get close enough to try and execute into a site. But will they?
Yeah, this is really cool. We actually just saw there was a quick check from Robs to see if there's anyone in the pits, but it's interesting what that information really gives you. You can't take it too for granted because we can see Simple still lurking in the palace position. Takes out Rops, he's waiting for it. He could hear Rops running around, and now all of a sudden it's the battle in mid that will be won by Mousesports, but Simple may just have an opening onto the A side. He's not too convinced, but what he can do is pull rotation and distract the CTs, but they don't seem to really be buying it so far, just holding positions and I presume waiting for a plant. And this position from Zeus is quite scary.
Oh, but look at Stico. Stico's made his way from short back into B, while Zeus has made his way through market. And, oh, he's turned around and seen Stico, but he hasn't got the kill. This is getting super weird now. But finally, Stico will get taken down. The bomb still hasn't been spotted, but now Simple's the only man with the AK on the opposite side of the map. How does he get into play here? He may have to go for a late flank. The bomb has gone down. That makes his position much stronger.
And Simple getting a frag, much like the way he did in the previous round. And now it looks like there's not all that much that Mousesports can really do to best Na'Vi in this situation. Oscar, all he can really do is get a save onto the AK, and he looks like he'll be good for that. But again, how are they doing so much damage? Na'Vi look very scary. They have not allowed Mousesports to stabilize even in the slightest.
This is a rough start for Mousesports.
It really is, yeah. Deadly stuff. And I love that they went for the force play here. I think that's like a very good way to utilize players like Electronic, like Simple, like Flamey. You have players that can play aggressively very, very well. And Simple's been playing very patiently here. Robs, he was running around a lot. He really gave Simple a pretty good chance to have all the info, to be expecting that potential fragging situation to occur, whereas Robs had no idea he was lurking there.
Force buy from Mousesports. Chris J's turn to be on the scout. It's been a while since we've seen the infamous days of Chris J with the scout. Oh, that was close to a return, but not quite, not yet anyway, but he's still alive for the time being. Edward taken down by Sunny. Had a monstrous performance on Mirage at the ECS finals. Maybe it will continue today.
Yeah, Oscar actually gave the AK save to Sunny, so it does tell you that Sunny is one of those players on Mirage. It's a map that he feels very good on, as you say. Always breaking a world record against the world record holders themselves on this map over at Cancun, and it's not gone too well here for Na'Vi, trying to bust their way through onto the B-bomb site, but they are surrounded, and there will be no call for them to come out with their hands up. The only result here for Mousesports is 5 dead Na'Vi players in this round. And they will start the flanking action. Rops has gotten info towards T-spawn. Once he has a good vision of T-spawn, he's going to be very aware that nothing is possible, but he's playing a very, very safe off angle there.
Heard some comms as well from Mouse Sports, who are close to us, and someone said they're both in B-apps, they're going back now. So Rops is not going to go too far. Just going to hold his position. He's got a nice off angle. And lots of time is being killed here from Na'Vi. Heading towards middle. And it seems they are maybe going to run the clock here and try and hold on to what they have, because mid is not the place you want to go in a situation like this.
Mousesports are giving nothing away. Absolutely zero. This is kind of a scary prospect for Na'Vi, because they will be reset completely. So this will give Mousesports the Mac 10 long range, and in case you haven't played much Counter-Strike before, not a good look. Not a good look. Although Rops is getting a bit closer, maybe there's a chance, but already died after time. Rops does look the right way, and in fact, actually, they'll survive and get a couple of kills from it. That has worked out fairly well for Na'Vi, and they may just, I mean, they probably should go for the force buy behind this. Their money sucks so much, and indeed, I think they will. This is a weird game, James. I feel like we've had some strange ones.
Yeah, it is a weird game, and it was an interesting predicament towards the end of that round if Mousesports should even try to hunt these players, because they aren't really in the best situation to afford the losses. So they'll have a FAMAS and a scout again in this round onto Oscar, who's made his way towards B bomb site. Chris J playing connector now, and Sunny in the window as Na'Vi make a very fast play into the A site. They're trading so far, but now there are 2 more plays to deal with.
It's going quite well so far for Mousesports, controlling things. Oh my god, Chris with the transfer! That is phenomenal. Simple though, not done just yet. Looks to try to take Chris down, but we've seen how good his rifling can be, and he proves it once again. 4-1 for Mousesports with that very quick defense.
That spray transfer was gangster, with a silenced M4 no less. 2/3 of the M4A4 bullets. Not an easy job, but Chris J has proved to be a very dangerous rifler. I still think he slept on what he does for Mousesports with a rifle, with Oscar being the main sniper in most situations. Anyway, it seems the force buys have come to an end for the time being, but the Deagles are out, at least 2 of them, onto Simple and Edwards. 4-1, despite the rough rounds of both teams. It is a good score so far for Mousesports, but they do need to stabilize their economy.
I was a bit afraid for Simple there. He was actually peeking with a Deagle with the bomb, no less. And now there's the bomb. So that's great. Ouch! Will be a frag back though, but again, seeing the bomb, and now CT's be more confident in the aggression, but you can see that it's actually maybe not paying off all that well for them. Again, they've got a lot of grenades, they've got a lot of firepower, and they will start to move in even further. So the bomb has acted as a really big bait, and actually may have been a pretty big value play after all.
Yeah, so you can hear Mousesports just coordinating the peak. Peak, 3 guys, all peak at the same time, so they've got maximum trade opportunities should they be required, and that's another round in the bag. But again, it was an expensive round for them, just considering Na'Vi's investment. They got a fair amount out of that, and now Na'Vi are coming for them with a 1-5 scoreline and 5 AKs, a bunch of grenades.
I do wonder, actually, if Chris J is like one of the only players using an M4A1S now. Because even, you know, like...
But even Raymond's M4A4.
Exactly, like, you know, the likes of G2 as well, like they had players you like to, like Shock sometimes like to go to the silencer, but...
Look at mid here. We saw the stereo smoke grenades being deployed by the T side, but they weren't ready. They had nobody lurking top mid, and Oscar and Chris J made their way up there very quickly indeed. And in the meantime, Zeus is making his way forwards in B-apps, but he's been forced to run to top mid, and now Stiko's making his way through B-apps with a very deep smoke. Look at that smoke. I do wonder if he's seen that from the Gambit tracks on Reddit recently. That is a disgusting shot from Oscar. Mousesports looking strong at the moment.
He is looking at full confidence here. We'll see if he can get anything else out of this. Of course, this peak from Simple. He's been trying to work Palace a lot this match so far. So he's trying to creep through the connector. There's a lot of players to watch pretty much everything for Mousesports, and Simple will try to get out there on the distraction perhaps, but Sonny will deal with Zeus. Simple still can't get the peak that he wants. A 4 versus 2 on the defense of A. Mousesports repositioning somewhat. And there is a kill for Simple, but a return from Oscar. Still alive, still kicking, still alive, but not for too much longer. Flamey will get the trade. A 1 versus 2, which is kind of a good result. things were, but it will end as another victory for Mouse Sports. And I love... James, as someone that does like to warp, when do you do this? This is a very bold play. Imagine if two riflers decided to go top mid. How do you deal with that? It's actually kind of insane.
I do this all the time, Dan.
It really just...
It is fine. Towards the end there, I've got to say it's an unfortunate situation for Flamey because the bomb was above the shadow position, which is why he was jumping on the bricks there. Being by the bricks itself is an okay position for him if you want to take an angle towards CT because most of his body is covered, but the bomb left him completely exposed to the elements, and the elements this time were bullets. 6-1 in favor of Mouse Sports. And now they may, they're in danger of running away with the half, perhaps.
Yeah, Oscar seems to be confident and looking good and being able to have the freedom to do what he wants because the economy's there. And they have a buffer of rounds to work with. So that is a very scary prospect. However, I say the economy is there. It's not really, to be honest. They've been winning rounds, sure, and there is some money, but it's very limited due to the nature of how Na'Vi just consistently deals so much damage. But I have to see if this can be that one clean round. And Oscar starts it off with a bang.
Oscar's, he's in his pajamas right now. He's got his slippers out. He's got a bowl of cereal next to him, despite it being midday. That's not terrible.
Gamer hours, man. It's gamer hours.
Yeah. He is. He's extremely comfortable. He hasn't changed his underwear in 3 days. Life is good.
I don't know if that's is that comfortable for you, James. I don't know if that's really.
Hey, I wasn't talking about me.
Prefer clean underwear myself, but
yeah, but I'm talking gamer life, man. I'm sure there are gamers out there who don't change their underwear for a number of days.
Well, we're at 7-1. Have no further comment on that subject. Oscar is changing up his position. We've seen him go mid a couple of times. Now he's going towards the B peak, and the timing could be really, really good here. We can see that there is quite some presence there. They may not expect a very aggressive, a very willing and capable Oscar. And Chris can create distraction as well. Now they'll look to be dealing with the underpass stairs, and in that moment, Oscar's taking more position, more liberties. Simple could get crushed if he tries to peek this angle. Chris gets another kill. Everything's falling apart, but just like that, an opening on the A side.
Yeah, that was really cool, but there are frags all over this map, and the bomb has to go down fast. Electronic has no cover, but he's got to plant it before the CT rotation comes in, and he will. Simple is still in B apps at the moment. It's not safe for him to go through the underpass to mid, but he's got to make a run for it. The bomb's not planted for him either, so he's going to have to run to T-spawn. There are Molotovs in. Electronic's been forced out. He's been flushed out, driven like a partridge. Rolls could go for the bomb plant. They have no idea where Simple is, and surely he can't get there. Running through the palace, he'll be heard, and that will give Mouse Sports the confidence to defuse the bomb. There were so many crazy things going on in that round. I think Simple, when he was in B apartments, heard Oscar jumping up, which is why after Zeus was taken out here by Chris, I mean, this would often bring you, you'd want to run back and then get shot by Oscar. However, Edward is here, but Simple was trained towards apartments the entire time, went for the wide peak, took him out, but ultimately it was not enough. 8-1 is the scoreline.
Wow, it's kind of insane. Mouse Sports, they're 8-1. That is actually quite mental. They're going for another rush into mid. Oh, Sunny makes the jump across, and they have to worry about Oscar now as well. He wants to make damage, even more damage, make it even worse. Insult added to injury. Oscar goes in for another peek. He spots the peek of an opponent there, but can't quite find the angle just yet as Na'Vi will start to fade away from mid, and they have been well and truly bullied off of map control. They can't seem to take mid against Mouse Sports unless Mouse Sports want to give it to them, James. It seems very difficult.
No fear whatsoever. Mouse Sports are the big boys now. Zeus and Electronic tentatively, carefully peeking top mid, forced to use some utility. Trying to create some presence, trying to add a fourth man. Using those smoke grenades will suggest that somebody could be behind the boxes top mid. CTs aren't in position to find out, so they'll have to be aware of that, afraid of that. And it will compromise some positions. Flamey with a great burst towards CT. Spots a player by connector as well. And that's Chris J forced away. Again, he's going back towards CT now. Doesn't know if anybody's in the mid area, and that may contain Oscar and Sunny for a while.
This is pretty okay for Mousesports, though, because they can play retake. The only thing really is that Chris has to be quite careful, but he does manage to find a brilliant opportunity. That's the bomb. It's on the ground as well. How do they do this? They got 2 players against 4. They have to collect the bomb. The time is completely against them. Electronica has a frag, but they need much, much more in this position. Can he win another 1v1? Yes, he does, but the time is still of the essence. 10 seconds to plant the bomb. Too much desperation. Too little to work with. Another round for Mouse.
It's a brutal situation for Flamey at the end there. Does he take the duel when he's carrying the bomb, or does he try and plant the bomb? If he tries to plant the bomb, he can only plant it on triple, and they're right next to triple, essentially. So, a rough round for Na'Vi once again, and it's 9-1.
And look at the mid takes we're seeing again from Mousesports. It's really, really important because it denies so much from the T game plan. It creates a lot of opportunities for the CTs to get information and knowledge as to what the Ts are doing. And you feel more confident. You feel like you can assert yourself more. And right now it's Na'Vi that are the ones that feel sort of oppressed and like they can't really get their game plan going. And they constantly have to fight off the back foot. They're doing quite well, but they aren't posting the rounds despite a lot of these sort of clutch scenarios we're seeing at the end of these rounds.
2 smokes on short often suggests a fast play, but Chris J, his vision is not obscured for the time being, but he's got to be careful for the pop flashes. In the ladder position, if the vent is popped, then he can make his way onto the bricks, but the vent is not popped, unfortunately. There's a pop flash to allow Na'Vi to move into the connector position, which isn't smoked off, so there are angles to be held, but it's Ropster, not Oscar, so it's dangerous waters. Speaking of dangerous, here is Oscar on short.
Yeah, they have this very tentative apps push in lieu of the fact that they decided to give up middle this round, but we can see that's not really boded too well, though. Sonny will be able to win the battles towards the pit, which is good and important, but oh, there you go. That's a very, very fancy way to finish off a round. Simple was going to be happy with that one, and Na'Vi will pick it up. And I mean, it's an interesting situation. What do you think about this, James? I think in this round, obviously, we're seeing loads of success on mid takes from Mousesports. A lot of success, but they basically showed here they don't want to do it every single round because you don't want to be predictable, right? But should they is the question, because once they gave up the territory to Na'Vi, Na'Vi worked with it expertly.
I think it's important to keep your opponent surprised and not expecting anything. Oscar wins the early duel with Simple. Haven't seen many of those just yet. That is an important player down for Na'Vi. That said, they are investing in these smokes, and they have got 2 players top mid, but if you can't get anything done with it, frags going around the A site in the meantime. Flamey doing some damage, but 3 versus 4 in favor of Mousesports. I don't think they're too concerned for the time being. Stiko, he's up on the boxes. This angle is very difficult to pre-fire if you are on the T side, and it's not something you necessarily want to pre-fire, because if you start firing your bullets, you're going to give your position away if no one's there. Stiko doing great damage. Now he can buy time for his team, taking some damage, but it's a 4 versus 2. I don't know if Electronic was carrying the bomb during that duel. Not sure if it was spotted. 2 people still staying towards A. Rops is deep in Palace, so while all this is being going on, he's got a very nasty off angle. So if they try to plant later on, he will be a problem.
This is a very stressful and hopeless situation for Na'Vi to try to deal with. By the way, I do like the little detail that Simple got the double in the last round with the AWP, and this round Oscar killed Simple by shooting through his teammate and getting the penetration kill. So poor Sonny losing half his health, but it was for a good cause. And here we can see Na'Vi don't really have any opportunity or any. Of course, they're just trying to survive at this point. They don't have time to do anything. They know that their odds are not good. They have to give the level of respect that a team like Mousesports deserves in a 4v2, that they wouldn't make some crazy mistake and somehow allow Na'Vi in. So instead, the better value plays to try to hold on to the AWP and to the AK. They have utility too. Their money is not amazing, but they can force it up in the following round and have a decent looking buy if they survive here, and Mousesports decide to leave them to it. A gentleman's agreement, perhaps.
That's crazy.
That's so awesome, isn't it?
From out of nowhere.
How does he... Okay, let's...
Boom.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
From out of nowhere.
Just in the arse.
Spin that wheel, baby. Spin that wheel. Boom.
This the beauty shot up close. Doesn't matter. Oscar is focused. Eye on the prize, James.
Now Sports with 5 times the score of their opponent, 2 AWPs. It is a joyous occasion. Haven't even mentioned GoTV picks, but on the CT side for Mouse Sports has to be Oscar. It's a bit late now.
Goes without saying, James. It's fine.
But what about the second half?
Simple and Oscar, Rops, Sonny, Chris, Flamey, electronically.
Okay, I'm never asking you again, literally ever. I think Oscar and Simple is good. Good picks for Mirage in general. Flamey's been good in some rounds on the T side so far as well, but not really lighting up the scoreboard. But then the whole team on for Na'Vi. Minute 15 on the clock, and Na'Vi starts slow towards the mid area. 2 people concentrated on it though, Electronic and Edwards, just waiting for a push to come in. But this is why it's great to not do it every round. This is something that Virtus Pro were beasts on way back when. Especially on Mirage, you never know when they're going to push, so you end up wasting so much time waiting for it, and it never comes when you wait for it. So now there's 50 seconds left, and Na'Vi haven't really achieved anything in this round. They've had Simple towards B and Flamey waiting on ramp, but look at, you've got the SK set up here on the ramp with Oscar and Rops. So nasty surprises are in store. Ooh, that's interesting. A different approach, but this might make it just one frag for Rops. He just about gets out in time. I don't know if he spotted anybody. Some flashbangs going there. They could do with a Molotov behind that smoke, but I don't think they've realized what's going on. This is getting really weird. 25 seconds, and they're crawling into A.
Yeah, Oscar repositioning to actually a safer spot to defend this from, and he's going to get the pick and the info. So it's Mousesports with first point of contact. That is not how this was supposed to go. Simple will be able to get a trade onto Ross for 10 seconds to plant the bomb. There's surely no way here. The desperate sprint across will be missed by Flamey, but he can't do it. Oscar, Chris, Sonny raining in all the bullets, and Na'Vi are doing not so well here. This is one of the things I do wonder about this, James, is whether or not Na'Vi should consider delayed mid takes or try to like have a different approach to mid takes, because they seem to just sort of give up on taking mid, and it seems like they've only tried to take mid very quickly when you have all the rush timings working into CT's favor. So we'll have to see if there is any adjustment to the last couple rounds, but
doesn't matter when you want to take mid, you're taking mid versus Oscar, and that's the problem.
Well, he's not going to hold there the entire rounds. That's kind of my point, at least. You can like work underpass more, perhaps. I'm not sure. It seemed, but that was like one option we didn't see utilized from Na'Vi. So it leads me to wonder, James. I'm wondering what could be.
Na'Vi fighting, clawing for anything they can get. 2 rounds remain in this first half, and B is going to be the play. Stico doesn't have much support. Chris J, though, is on short, so once these smokes come in, he can rotate there. Sonic can keep an eye on mid in the meantime. And Chris J's position, if he can avoid the flashbangs, will be strong. Here come the smoke grenades, though, and they may obscure his vision. He's waiting for the flashes, standing behind the bricks. In the meantime, Edwards moving away from the B bomb site now, and Simple seems to be heading in on his own with the bomb, or just waiting. What is the player from Na'Vi? They've got 3 people now in the middle area. Are they trying to sell effect towards A?
Oh, Chris J's going to spot it, whiffs the shot, pulls out the P250, misses, and that's a massive opportunity now. The 5 versus 3. It's down to Seeker to try to anchor this bomb site. He's been making very good decisions here, but he has to hit the shots as well. Oscar goes down around him, only 1 bullet fired. It's a frag, it's a double from Rops. Now he picks up the AWP. Oh, that is beautiful there from Rops. And Na'Vi can't quite seem to get anything going. Just when you think they might do it, Rops steps in to save the day.
Man like Rops, and you can see Oscar is impressed with that one, but Rops is keeping his cool, no pun intended. That was exquisite. It's nice to see a B split as well from Na'Vi. It's very rare to see that. Even on buy rounds from T side, it's just the presence of mind, man.
How does he know to pick up the AWP and instantly take that angle, man? It's so crazy.
Rops is awesomeness. He is the personification of awesomeness. Na'Vi forced on the force for the last round of the first half. They have a UMP onto Electronic and a bunch of pistols, lots of flashbangs, lots of smokes, but they have not yielded much so far. Oscar again is like,
I'm bored.
He needs more cereal. He needs to go to the shop.
I am bored. Where are the T's?
He doesn't even have anybody covering underpass. He's just like,
just out there, man.
He just don't care. And that's why you love to watch Oscar. You love to see it.
And maybe that's just like part of the conditioning. It's like, well, it must be nice when you have one player that can just do 3 positions at once.
Oh, Edwards top mid now. Can he avoid the trade, though? Edward's on the corner. Oh, he was throwing a grenade, so he can't trade. In the meantime, 3 Na'Vi players are heading towards A with the bomb. Sonny and Rops are in position, and Oscar is not far away. They've thrown smokes towards jungle, towards connector, but they haven't smoked Oscar off. But he may be having to keep an eye on Edward, who is about to walk through that smoke. There's a slight gap, but I don't think he was being seen on the radar or through the eyes. Sonny playing the slow game, allowing his teammate Rops to run distraction from CT. And here's Oscar. Oh, where's Edward? Flamey is putting a kill, and out comes Sonny. Rops is still alive in the meantime. This is a big problem for Na'Vi. Long range, the M4 will prevail. 30 seconds left. Flamey, 35 HP, 1 versus 3. Stiko, connector, Chris J, jungle, and Rops will double up in that position. So now they've got basically 4 people because Flamey's still looking towards CT.
And yeah, Mousesports have reset it, slowed it down a little bit, leaving Flamey to sort of linger in the existential dread of his position, and that'll be a devastating scoreline, 13-2. And I have to ask the question, what is the decision-making process going behind sending Oscar in mid, so open to so many positions? Is it because they feel like, hey, we know they've got a force buy, and that they won't have guns where they feel confident to challenge mid? But that still feels like a big gamble.
If they can't win mid when they've got rifles, they're not going to win mid with pistols. Also, Oscar.
I think what the answer is, James, is just simply Oscar. I think that's it. I think that's where we need to go with that. But how do you come back from this? You know, you're playing. Obviously, you need to win that pistol round, and you need to get that confidence going. And I mean, you need to remember how to frag people again, because that's sometimes what happens when you like lose in such a devastating way. It just doesn't feel like you just don't have any momentum at all. Your confidence wanes a little bit. So we'll have to see if the experience of the Na'Vi players can bring them back. They need someone like Simple to just have a big round. Electronic, someone to have a big round just to get that morale up.
Simple has a positive score somehow.
That's interesting.
He is 13 for 12. But we can't really take much from that in this situation. But it's just interesting to note. 13-2. And there is a pause. I'm not sure the nature of the pause at present, and now there is an unpause. So we can move on with the second half. What will we see from Mousesports on the T side? Rops has been made the raid boss. He's been given a P250 by Stiko, one would presume.
Nice.
So he has almost double the range of a Glock. Love to see it on a T pistol. All Kevlar for Na'Vi. No defuse kits. Looking for headshots, and they need them. They need them bad.
Oscar taking the 1v1, long range, you know, with the Glock versus the USP. That's, again, there's Oscar things. Hashtag Oscar things. Ooh, boost into the window. This should be fun. Sonny is the one to be elevated, but also, just as quickly as he's elevated, he will descend in a lifeless manner. Now down to Rops, perhaps, with the P250 tagged up a little bit as he tries to get an angle here, looking over the smoke, exposed to jungle as well. He just can't quite get that kill on Stiko.
What is that?
180 and in the face. That is not a good look. Na'Vi down to 2 against the 3 now, just Electronic, but he can do this. These players are very, very weak.
And you wonder why Chris J is jumping there, but if the shot's not landed, it may take 6 bullets to kill him, and that's a lot of bullets to land. So despite the early promise of the shot from Simple, the round is with Mousesports. This could be a 16-2. The force buy is demanded of Na'Vi, and it will come in. CZs, a Deagle, some bits and bobs. They don't have a single grenade, not a flashbang for ramp, but not a flashbang for top mid. This is quite the task ahead of them. I do note that there were decoys. There were 2 decoys in B at some point of that pistol round. I don't know if they were thrown by the T side or... But there we go. So there's a Palace push from Zeus and Electronic. Rops should hear this, though, from his position. But what do Mousesports do in reaction? Electronic will stay there. Zeus will make his exit, and it seems they're heading off to stack the B bomb site, thinking that Electronic is a snake in the grass. But the grass has already been cut by Mousesports.
Yeah, they are in a great position, leaving Sonny and Connect here with the Mag 10. It's so awesome when you can leave a player in the ladder room, or better yet, the connector. You can just play so well off of it if it's just a single player, or you can build a 3-man push, as we'll maybe see here. We do have also coming in with a scout, and Chris will get the first frag. The smoke's still up there on short to cover their approach. I think it will dissipate soon, but it doesn't matter. The players of Na'Vi are starting to fall, and they're all in the same position as well, which does not bode well, considering that they're also at a 2-man disadvantage in this round.
The entire time, Rox was waiting for that push from Electronic and punished him for it. So, death by paper cuts it seems, but Simple still trying to keep that positive key KD. 16 for 13 now in the CGL position, but maybe death looms for him. He is the last man standing for the team with the Deagle. Distracted from mid, slaughtered from jungle, 15-2, match point Mousesports.
Seems like it's going to be coming to a close here very soon, and this is definitely a map which I've enjoyed watching Mousesports on in the past, and a lot of it does come down to the fact that you have sort of a player for everything. You know, Sunny can be a really explosive rifler. He doesn't often have necessarily the best CT size, but when you get him on that T side, he can open up everything. Rops is really good at lurking, a very good all-rounded player. Oscar obviously suited so well to this map on the both sides. They just have some fun dynamics on this map, so never an easy task to take down Mousesports here, as FaZe also done in Cancun, and we'll see whether or not this quick B rush, James, will finish it off for Mousesports.
Flying into the B-bomb site. Long-range MAC-10 will prevail for the time being. The Deagles are being rattled off. Zeus good for the one kill. Simple's here again. He's picked up a UMP, and Electronic delivers a kill with a CZ. 2 versus 2 very quickly. Mousesports trying to put this one to bed early, but it seems that Na'Vi are full of caffeine, at least for this round. Rob's taken out now, and Oscar is alone. He's got time, he's got angles. He seems to know where Electronic is. Oh, looking to his left, he gets his bell rung, maybe through the box. 42 HP left. This is doable. If he keeps going to his right, he might find a second player as well before they can figure out what's up or get something done. Flamey with a scout. This is so awkward for Na'Vi. Very awkward indeed. Sees one player, misses a shot though, looking for the trade fragger, but no one's popping out just yet. 11 bullets left. Surely it's enough. Dropping a smoke down. There's a shot from Flamey. He has conceded his position. He's taken the bait. But little does he know that Oscar's the predator. 16-2.
Oscar played that situation really intelligently, by the way, which is, I mean, it just shows sort of the breadth that he has. And, well, 16-2. Very strong start to day 2 for Mousesports. And if you're a Mousesports fan, of course, you love to see it. You've got a bit of everything. You've got a bit of Robs, a bit of Sunny, a bit of Oscar and Chris J. You know, just all the things that we come to expect from the Mousesports lineup. Na'Vi, though, struggling to really make anything work. And it really was that first half. They couldn't hold on to those mid takes. That's really where Mousesports made the difference.
Oscar is comfortable. He's not even wearing shoes. He's going to shake their hands just in his socks. I respect that. Well, that's quite the shocker for Na'Vi. I don't even know what to say, but hopefully the desk does about that one. And that's a great match from Mousesports. We'll see how they continue in this tournament, but we will have the thoughts of the desk after this break. Let's roll.
much I hate this. मेरे को क्यों ब्लॉक कर रहा है यार सब मेरे किल्स है वाह भाई वाह Let's go back to the match.
Negative.
Shall we?
And you can also see in this particular system, they're like allowing him a lot of room. They're executing B, and he's still lurking A apps, and he is getting the kills and having impact. But you can also see the frustration we were talking about yesterday. That round, which was a reset round, right after Navi won a gun round, he just wide peaks mid with an op to duel Oscar. Now, most of it like that, I can't remember last time I've seen that work. You know, when an operator at this level of play is holding an angle, you're not going to just beat him to the punch, especially not a player like Oscar. So that's something where maybe the frustration kicks in as well. And the style with which Navi started, which they played with, is fine to start things out. But if it's not working, you need to have something, you know, to fall back on, maybe some set executes, because they were just getting bullied. Richard, halfway through that first half.
Yes,
someone
yes, they were.
Someone needs to be put on a seminar, maybe.
Yeah.
I wondering maybe what we're seeing here is actually something different. Maybe it's the fact that we have Simple, which is the player that's obviously hard to control as an in-game leader. We also have Electronic, that's a new player, and they're trying to be fit into this SUS system of in-game leading that's very different from everything else almost in the world, right? It involves playing very slowly on the T side, and then, you know, when you're down to 30-ish seconds, the defending team starts to get a little bit nervous, and suddenly they have to, you know, make up their minds. And that's not what's happening right now for Navi at all, right? So it seems like SUS isn't being able to run a system. Maybe they're caught within, you know, Electronic and Simple wanting to play aggressive and wild, and SUS wanting to rein everyone back, and nothing is working.
Yeah, and I think we're maybe being caught up a little bit talking about Navi. Mousesports played an amazing game.
Yeah, no, I almost feel because Navi was so bad that they're going to dominate the headlines, and we haven't got a lot, long to talk. But yeah, absolute full credit to Mousesports. Played a blinding game, and that is now the most dominant score that we've had so far in this major. So look, we've got to move on. We've got Space Soldiers coming up next. They had a bit of frustration on day one, and Smix actually talked to Major, their in-game leader from Space Soldiers.
I know the Space Soldiers have been hyped for being very skilled for a long time, but the team still hasn't had that big breakout yet. So what do you think is holding you guys back?
I think it's all about experience. This is the biggest event we can make in CSGO. So this is a difficult place to play a good CS. But like yesterday, we did so many mistakes about the communication. It was all about the communication, and we talked a lot yesterday night. And I hope today gonna be a better day for us. Yeah.
It's interesting you speak about experience because even though you have performed online before, like at ESL1 Cologne when you took down SK, still not as much experience as maybe some of the other teams here. So do you see that as only a disadvantage or perhaps also an advantage because your motivation is higher?
I don't know. It depends also about personality. Some player learning more faster. Some player have his own slow time to learn. So we are trying to get step by step, and this is the first time for us here in the major. CS, it's not about IM. It's not only the IM. It's not about the skill. Yesterday we watched the demo, and we all the team talk and say that we did a lot of communication mistake. We didn't talk yet because about also it was the first time the how do we say, there is a sound on the headset, and it's the first time for all the players here. So like, we talk and we will try to fix the mistake today.
And coming into today, going up against Avangard, do you feel more prepared after the loss yesterday against Sprout?
Yeah, we feel more prepared. We will do better than yesterday. Yeah.
Sounds great to hear. Thank you so much for speaking with me, Major, and best of luck today.
Thank you.
Right, so there you have it. We talked a lot about Space Soldiers the other day, and Major says we're more prepared today. So I don't know what they've been doing overnight, Anders. Looks like you've got a point to make.
That was a great interview. I really enjoyed listening to Major. He sounds like someone who
he's a smart guy, been around for a while.
He sounds like someone who has respect for the deeper layer of the game that's almost always overlooked. I really enjoyed that. But so, yeah, I mean, if what he's saying, I think he's dead on the money. They did come out as a very aggressive, very explosive team. They just didn't have a lot of of experience, and now they're sort of having to adjust to all of this new stuff, playing on a big stage, and also, as he said, even just the audio differences from playing in different venues can have a really big impact. I think those are good points.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you make?
And I think that's why it's going to be even more beneficial them getting probably the easiest opponent, right? Because that's going to be another game in which they can probably use to get adjusted to all these new conditions. And Major is probably the only player, or definitely the only player in that lineup that has previous international experience from playing in 1.6. He was actually a teammate of Sixers in Millennium or East Sahara, one of those teams, and he has been, you know, at big international tournaments. So that's some experience that he can definitely translate and pass over to some of his teammates.
Yeah, now, I will say this, though. If Space Soldiers were going to get up and running here, I think they've been given another gift. I thought they were given a gift with Sprout. Didn't turn out that way. With this team of Vanguard, I think they've been given another one here. This really is the team I would expect Space Soldiers to beat, but do you not agree with that, Yank?
I agree. I think they are the clear favorites. We saw some good stuff from Avangard yesterday versus Mousesports. I mean, they made it relatively close, and Buster seemed to have been the standout player for the team. That Crazy Deagle 4K highlight round, but he just seems to be the main fragger. And Krisen, who's right next to him on the graphic, he is the guy who has struggled the most. So I think in this level of play, you can't have a guy falling behind that much. He needs to step it up today.
I definitely enjoyed Buster, and he played like someone who actually did have an enormous amount of experience. He looked very confident. I think Quaikut was the other one. He looked like a solid player as well. So, you know, 2 out of 5 is a start, but I agree that the Space Soldiers should be winning this.
Well, I'm going to tell you the map. It's Mirage, Space Soldiers pick, and Avangard have elected to start on the CT. So what does that do to any predictions that you might be making?
I would still stick with Space Soldiers just based off of experience and skill, but for Avangard it's good because it's a map they already played, right? So they got a bit of a warm-up in this tournament on it, and maybe from that game versus Mousesports they saw the mistakes and they can work on it.
And Anders, your prediction?
still on board with them. Still think we're going to see some good Turkish Counter-Strike today.
All right, well, we're about to find out, but first, there is a small matter of taking.
We're good, thanks.
Yep.
Flashbang.
I let you down yesterday.
Even more than that, I was hoping for. You know, like yesterday against Sprout, I feel like they looked nervous. I think obviously we saw it in the pre-match interview with Major there that he was feeling that the team was still getting used to this environment. It's the biggest tournament they've ever played, and that's understandable. They definitely can bring a lot more firepower than that. That was not good enough yesterday, and I feel like they are going to win this game and start to get warmed up into this tournament. But I am expecting a lot more than what we saw.
I like that Major also touched on communication, because you mentioned the lack of trades yesterday on Cobblestone for them, and they were really one-dimensional.
It wasn't so much the trade, it's a lack of discipline. Like, I think Counter-Strike's all about skill, teamwork, discipline. Those are the three pillars you need to be working on. It's that third one that really didn't work out, but Divisic, that did. Good lord, the USP comes into fruition. He finds the first two kills. Xanter is still alive, and he's always going to be a bit of a beast here. It's now a 4 versus 3. They are going to be committing fully towards the A bomb site. Engine, though, could fall back on the bomb on his back there. hand. Zantara is trying to get the wall bang at the Glock. That's ambitious.
Avangar yesterday was my wild card pick against Mount Sports. Impressed, I think, more than some people would have expected. Good reaction from Major as he snaps back over to Jane, but Buster's got the shot back. Zantara is still trying to find Christian down below as he jumps into the site. It's going to be Kicker that's easily able to put engine down and be aware of the fact that Zantara has made it to the firebox. In from the firebox, though, he's able to turn it around and take down both aforementioned players. That gives him space inside of the site. He's got the HP advantage over Buster as well. 14 only for Buster. USP is going to have to nail the headshot. Zantara does have to go back to get the ball. Doesn't even matter. Straight kill. 4 in total for Zantara's.
That was absolutely wild towards the end. Zantara stepping up. If he's on the server map, anything can happen there. It looked like it was locked in for Avangar. His opening kills are fantastic. Zantara, though, jumping out of the palace, getting himself into an advantageous position. 2 kills come in there, then absolutely rails him toward the steps. Brilliant stuff.
And I did look it up yesterday because we mentioned that on the previous HLTV ratings, Zantara's was the highest rated again. A little bit skewed based on the fact he doesn't play Tier 1 all the time. He's actually still rated number 2 under rating 2.0, which is the new rating system. Bintet's the only player higher, which is a similar story again. Kind of skewed opposition, but it's remarkable nonetheless.
You have to think, if he was a fluent English speaker where he would be playing right now, it's unbelievable how good he can be.
I have said that. I mentioned it to him last year when we were at one of the 1v1 tournaments actually in Bucharest. I said, man, you need to learn some English because you could easily play anywhere, and he didn't really respond because he didn't speak English. Didn't understand what I said to begin with, so it doesn't matter.
Well, there we go. Once again, it's the same problem. They do get the trade there, but they're going into these choke points without any real utility at the very start. They can hold up. It's a rapid problem for Space Soldiers. They are starting to recover somewhat, though, but Buster doing a very good job with the Desert Eagle, even more so with the second. 3 versus 2 now, and his anti-ecos always are so dicey for Space Soldiers, but 2 versus 1, just about as Paz finds a penultimate kill there, and it's up to Jame, who will be in CT spawn.
And with the scout is a threat because Paz with only 17 HP, Major on 100, headshot would take him down obviously, can at least afford to take a bit of damage. Paz wants to get that bomb planted, just barely evades the shot from the scout. He'll go safe side of the boxes so that it can't be sprayed through the long position.
It's getting a bit scary. I feel like James about to go into these shots, and all of a sudden it's a 1 versus 1. But Paz does deliver. But once again, I'm feeling nervous when they go into these anti-eco situations. Every single time, like everyone's going out 1 by 1. There's no utility really deployed. You can see the steps not even covered there. Then Buster, lovely shot. Don't get me wrong, but still, it's always so touch and go every single time.
Keep in mind that Avangar, this is their number 1 played map. This will be their 33rd match on it. They did lose yesterday. Before yesterday, they had like a 71% win rate on it. So different opposition, sure, but it's still remarkable that they've gotten it twice out of the long ban process that is the best of 1. So that's going to be something that they're pleased with.
Well, full eco now. CZ for Buster, and it will be Dimasik. I've been told it's pronounced. So we're going to work on that map.
We're going to work on it. We'll make it fluent, so if we say Dimasik, it's still like it's all about the same, right?
So not really much to see you can do. They went for a big stack, unfortunately for them, so it is almost guaranteed to be the 3-0 here, as you can see. Not really much to report here, Matthew. It's going to be one of those rounds where we don't get to say much at all. The bomb we planted, that's the round guaranteed to be over, and it might even be an idea just to stay alive on the CT side. You can see a majority usage of the SMG on the terrorist forces. Every time they get a kill with that weapon, it's $600. So you might consider even just denying them everything. Staying alive wouldn't be the end of the world. See if they run into a little crossfire set up here. See if you can get one of the kills, but it looks like the Maxims are starting to do some serious work now. 3 kills come in. It's just going to be Buster as the last remaining CT. CZ in hand is going to hold in the B apartments and hold for anyone pushing towards him. It's obviously a close range weapon. He might get 1 kill here. Not meant to be though. Clean sweep and a bit of a bonus situation for the Space Soldiers here. 3 MAC-10s up against a weakened Avangar. If you force buy in the second round, you are going to be struggling. They do get the AWP out, but you can see there'll be a distinct lack of either utility or helmets. And okay, they've gone for the former, so they've gone for 3 helmets here and 2 smokes available, man, in the first gun round. That is not ideal, is it?
A couple of young players in this as well. Kickert, Christian. I'm told it's like Christian.
Yes.
Christian.
But how do you hold off?
And I'm just going to say, and Calix are all 3 of the 10 youngest players in this event.
Oh, I see you've been doing your research.
I have. Thank you.
James
in that mix as well. He's just a bit older, but Paz goes toward the sandwich. You're right. How do you hold off a rush with glass cannon on James as well, and there's no kits to work with on the CT side?
It's looking okay right now. It's still a 3-on-3. The bomb, oh, that's a Courageous plan, I have to say. Paz still fragging though, 2-on-2. Jane rotating in with the AWPs, coming towards that connector area. Paz has been tagged up. And now Buster has shown some decent form. That Desert Eagle continues it with the M4A4. Paz now 2 frags into this round, but it doesn't look likely he can win this one. If he finds one more kill, that's actually really beneficial. The money's still going to be extremely weak for the CT forces, and now the mind games begin. Has he gone towards B? The CTs don't know. They are going to separate. That does give Paz a chance to make his way in. If he lands a 1-bullet headshot towards Buster, that would be extremely beneficial. Seems to know that he could be hiding on the bomb side there as he makes his way in. As you can see in the top left, both CTs now on completely other sides of the map.
Had red HP.
Planting. Bomb has been planted. I'm throwing smoke. Throwing a flashback. Flashback. Terrorists win. Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them. Laying down smoke. Throwing a flashback. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke. Smoke! I'm throwing a flashback. Throwing a flashback. Flashback. Deploying flashbang. I'm throwing smoke.
Couple of AKs at the same time. These rounds are never straightforward, it seems, for Space Soldiers.
Paz goes back toward the apartments. Major inside of the site has to survive on his own. At least until such time the bomb can get in position. He's done well. He's held the quad side sight inside of the pillars. Taking any unnecessary peeks. And in fact, holding off the door, he'll get Buster walking through as well. It's James last alive. Take that back, excuse me. Kicker's still in this as well, but his low HP is on 19. Good find from James to at least pull the round level, but much to work with. No kits. They've got to get aggressive. James going to try and do exactly that. His teammate's still in the window. Again, low HP, can do nothing. Paz is going to find him soon after his teammate went down.
Well recovered. 5-0, but this is where the game really begins for Avangard. Remember, this is a best-of-1 environment. These sort of starts, especially on a map like Mirage on the CT side, where it's technically more favored, this is looking pretty disastrous. Here's Major getting it done with the AK-47. Lovely work by him. We spoke to him in the pre-game interview, and he said the team was nervous yesterday and they know they can do better today. So far, so good map. Not giving up a single round so far, but very early days, and Avangard changed their stance to go for a double orb setup. Still no kits. Their money is not stable. 3 players of our helmets. Luckily, no SMGs available for Space Soldiers here. They're going to have 5 AK-47s. And we'll take a tactical timeout. It's actually going to be Space Soldiers calling that one. They know they can control the pace of this game, dictate where it's going, and force Avangard into uncomfortable situations. Space Soldiers, of course, dropping out to Sprout yesterday on Cobblestone. We thought that would be a lock-in for them. The start of their underdog campaign here at stage 1 of the major, but it wasn't meant to be. Their anti-ecos were a massive problem, and their T side especially just did not look good. But, like we said, so far so good in this one. This is the 0-1 game. Double orb setup. Is there a change in terms of the aggression from the CTs? I don't think so. I think let's give this a go. They have sent 3 players towards B, with Gigabyte heading towards Shore. He hasn't got the AWP, bear in mind. He's gone towards CPL, the M4A4. In terms of the setup for Space Soldiers, looks like a B execution coming through. I think this is a great way to play the game. If you have full control of the money, set pieces, and just bullying the CTs off when they haven't really got the utility to hold you at bay is a very good idea. Double orb setup, that could be a disaster for retaking bomb sites if the full wall of smokes comes in towards the B area.
So underpass to work with for Paz and Calyx. DMI6 above them. Smokes up from B, will cut off the arches, so Keykurt's got to go back inside of the site, which now gives Paz and Calyx the chance to try and boost with DMI6 watching Catwalk instead. Paz is going to get in, and Dima never turned. Oh, he just did. I was about to say, based on my view, that he got all the way to the vent. He just got caught in time by DMI6, which gives them back mid-control, and it's going to force Space Soldiers back. That's a huge win, because if he was able to get through the vents and sneak around behind from Checker, they were down inside of the B site.
5 versus 3. Finally, something looking promising for Avantgarde here. And it's the AWP of Jame that does step up quite nicely there to find a very influential pick. 30 seconds remaining. It's unlikely Space Shoulders get back into this round, but Xantera is still alive here. Krisen looking towards the connector. But Xantera's here he comes, using that AK-47. Here's a very scary factor on the map. So is Calyx. He takes down one. Can't find the second now. It's going to be DMI6 hiding towards jungle. 13 seconds remaining. This plant down here. I'll be impressed. Xantera is now causing some pain from the palace area. He wants to take these challenges. He wants to find the jewels, and is buying time for Engine. He's walking towards CT spawn. No double spray down today, but now Engine left in a 2 versus 1, and Xanteras has done the damage.
Tons of damage. This gives Engine a massive chance. The fact the ball went down and Xanteras was able to find the early kill gives him a massive chance. Busters, with 2 HP, able to get the shot through the box and finally get Avantgarde around. This will be a full 5-round reset. We talked a little bit about how that money system works yesterday, meaning that if they lose the next one with only one player surviving, they're going to be left with very little economy. So a chance to reset for Space Soldiers at least, but a first round for Avantgarde.
Yeah, still, that was a 5-on-3 situation coming down to a tight 1 versus 1. Good effort by Space Soldiers, and like we said, they're going to keep them very, very modest indeed. This is the final shot. You can just see the tiny bit of forehead sticking out of the box there. Engine does go down eventually, but still, Space Soldiers have a real strong full buy here, of course. They get the 5 AK-47s, every bit of utility required. Look at Avantgarde, 2 UMPs, the saved AWP, and they're going for a full A execution. This is why I said, if you know you're controlling the economy, keep dropping these in. CT's going to struggle.
Fast execution as well. Calyx through they set smoke toward jungle inside of spawn. Fastest way to throw it, but they had to go through a smoke and flash of their own. Buster's able to step up as a result. He's got the UMP. Keykert manages to shut down Engine, and Calyx, the one who threw the smoke and then went back towards spawn to get bomb, is now left alone. So the fast play does not pay off. I don't mind running fast plays. I won't say it's not going to pay off yet, because Calyx is the second highest rated player on Space Soldiers, and he's already got one and given himself a breath of room. But to run a fast play when you're up against a potential reset, it's a tough call to make.
They're just trying to make sure that Avantgarde can get comfortable. There's no defaults being presented. There's nothing at all, right? They're changing it up every single round. Execute towards B, execute at A, fast push in. And like it's not a standard game so far, but after this round, I would suggest it will be. It'll be one of the final buys coming forward for Space Soldiers if they do indeed lose this round. Calyx has a chance to win, of course, but it's unlikely.
Well, and 2 things. 1, he can get the bomb plant down, which would give them enough money for a great buy. And secondly, any kill that he gets here is going to make it very costly.
Yes, absolutely. Krisen, as you can see, he's in T-spawn, just covering information, not even required. He will be taking down Calyx. That is towards the connector, and we get 5-2 on the scoreboard. Like we said, one more buy available for Space Soldiers before they are on eco. But nice to see Avantgarde turning up now and starting to stabilize somewhat. Buster with this UMP. This was absolutely wild. The fact he got the second kill at such long range. There we go. It's even the third. That was the one that was impressing me towards Major there. Great work with the UMP, a weapon that was nerfed earlier in 2017 for that very reason. The range was a little bit too long in it, but still doesn't affect him at all. Xanteras spots a player crossing towards the connector there, can't pull the trigger in time. Big round here as Avantgarde start to get into this game. The fuse kits coming out, the utility, no double AWP set up again, but James, the main AWPer, will have that weapon in hand. Exploring towards the B apartments now. The CTs will be pushing through. That's a great position to be in. Gets a lot of information, but does he go any further? Just hold up there. Ah, he will indeed hold up.
So it doesn't get, as you say, any further information, but it can still give them confidence to not be directly inside of the B site. More so, because Buster's also been watching Catwalk. It'll be time to react. Based on his position, good find from Christian. He's gotten one down on Major. Jim takes out Calyx. Now it really could be last 5 for Space Soldiers. They need to get into the site quickly to get the bomb down. Good play from Pass. He doesn't realize that bomb is around behind him so quickly, and even though he does react, he still gets taken down by the M4. Engine does make up for it. Stick over-aggressive, overextending, and Zontaris gets Buster trying to reach around to catch the kill in return. They could have waited because Quicker was on the hard flank. He's actually just gotten inside of A-Main, and he's easily going to take down Engine, but that means it's costly. Thankfully, he does get the bomb for it. Zontaris has gotten it down to a one-on-one, and my God, he is scary when he's on a form like this. 2 kills already, and he's so crisp. We need to get his camera shot at some point. How close he sits to his monitor because he's dead accurate, and perhaps that's why he takes down Kickert as well.
Oh, you don't want to give up a position when you're in a 1 versus 1 with Zontaris. He seems to hit absolutely every single shot. You're right. Such a scary player to be up against there. And we were mentioning it before. Like, he sits unbelievably close to his monitor. Like, the nose is almost touching. He's like, the hands are directly beneath him. And he's just in the game, I guess. It's like, he's like Neo at that point. It's like just reading the gaming code. And unbelievable scenes. What a fantastic clutch from him. 6-2. And it looks like an eco coming forward for Avantgarde here. Major, you need to be careful, my friend. You are alone with the AWP up against an eco. You lose that weapon, it could come disastrous. But what a flick that was. Domasic will get his head blown off there, removed from the server. And we run round number 9. And 6-2 looking to be 7-2 very shortly.
So Calyx UMP going to hold just to make sure no one pushes aggressively. They do get the reset in the end based on good efficiency. Again, 1 player survived in the first round. They won only 3 in the second round, but they had to buy in so aggressively that they get caught out immediately. So Space Soldiers take over control. Nifty little pop flash off the fridge. Doesn't go deep in the hallway, but anyone directly on the platform will be caught by it should they elect to go for it, and then Engine can peek. At least clear the direct threat. I think perhaps they're going to just let Major do the clearing. No, there it is. So they do go for it. Double peek out. Major will get in position. Next chance to clear the van, and Major's in position to get out Kickert as soon as he actually pushes out. So they went the short Molotov instead.
Yeah, flushing him out of that tight corner. A lot of players will sit in that position when they've got a CZ, for example, or maybe an MP7 UMP. Use a flashbang from a teammate and try and spray them down. But we can see them heading back towards A. It's up to Major now. He started alone at the very beginning of the round, now alone towards B while his teammates get in.
And there's 2 reasons for him to be the flanker. For him to be the faker. First off, he's got the nades to do it. Secondly, they can plant so that he's in mid with the AWP to watch through connector. So Major's already rotated back in that position. He just has to hold position for such time that the bomb is planted perfectly for him. It is. The fake works, and I highly doubt they're even going to do anything with the pistols. But it's a smart play to let the AWP post that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at this point, guaranteed round for Space Soldiers. Avantgarde, in terms of the next round, they're on the first they've lost bonus, but they've got about 3k per player, maybe just under that on a couple of them. So they will be able to buy into the next round. It just won't be ideal. It will be another mishmash buy. Might have some Famouses, UMPs, a couple of M4s, something like that. They could take a partial buy here if they really want to play safe, as Paz finds yet another kill. If they find 1 AK-47 taking the next round, that'd actually help a lot. I can't stress that enough.
Unfortunately, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Here, post up inside a checker. 7-2 for Space Soldiers.
Ooh. Domasic, he's got $2,600. There he is, Zontaris.
That's him relaxing.
He's not in games like that.
There.
Yeah, he gets a bit closer. He's right up in that monitor.
The only person I know that might sit as close, maybe, I don't know if I can say closer, but Bondic sits very close right as well.
Yeah, I've seen him plenty of times, like DreamHack events and those booths and stuff, and he's just like right up to the monitor. That's him just getting ready for the round. Imagine when he's in a clutch, how close he gets.
He looks like a wrist aimer as well because he has his hand closer to the edge of the desk, which could maybe go along with the mouse acceleration, but
sure.
Again, I don't use it. You are strictly against it, but it seems to work for him.
Well, here we go. If you use very high sensitivity, it's not actually a massive issue because it's all about the speed you move a mouse, and obviously it goes up. If you're using really high sense, it's not a massive deal. But 7-2, and it's round number 10 here. Like I said, a couple of compromises have to be made. UMPs will come out. James still has the AWP, but no armor. 1 HE grenade as we're 1 minute 20th of the round. That is not ideal. They have to work hard for these frags. They cannot rest in their laurels and wait for an execution to come in. Someone actively needs to hunt for a kill at the very beginning of this round. Major, he's been hitting some some pretty interesting shots so far. I have been enjoying some of the flicks he's been presenting so far into this, and you can see Quicker with the push towards the B apartments again. Like I said, he has to work hard and try and get a kill here. Same story for Buster, waiting for a sound to come around the corner, and it works out for a Major. The Orb can't do anything about that. Good flashbangs being utilised, and he'll find 2 kills, 5 on 3, but they have thrown these kind of rounds away before. Paz surely dead there. Doesn't check the corner, and he will be punished for that.
Yesterday, one of the issues Avangard had on their CT side, Team 6 going to pull it back and get Zantaras down, is that they did lose key battles on both Cat and B, and it was a big weakness for them against Motherboard. So a couple rounds in particular we referenced on the desk. Today it's a little bit of a different story. This round's pretty straightforward. Double up setup seems to work. Doesn't have to do much. 1 kill for it, but Buster seems to hold off well on Cat. The formula to what's causing them lose today is very different in that they're just getting ripped apart in duels. I mean, the number of clutches we've seen that's gone the way of Space Soldiers has been remarkable.
Well, they're yet to post more than 2 rounds in a row, Avangard, so need to start stringing these rounds together. They do manage to get a couple of AKs now. That is very beneficial for the CT forces to have. That might sound a little bit strange, but the AK-47 has 1-tap potential, means you can play more aggressive angles on the CT side. And James, speaking of aggression, doesn't manage to get towards that A-ramp with the AWP. It's a little bit Fallen-esque, if you like, as Antares is ready and waiting. He does drop a smoke. That'll be allowing... Oh, that's an awful little smoke. Doesn't do anything for him, I'm afraid. Massive gap. There's no one-way there. Misthrows it, and at this point he might consider falling back. His teammates are watching Palace for him, but he wants to try and get this first kill. Flashbang actually misses him, and he gets a collateral. Takes Paz down to 14 HP.
I thought he was going to get both cleanly, but fair enough. 14 for Paz. It's still all good. Avangard could fall back and play more securely in the site, so the aggression pays off. Engine's going to line up top stairs, smoke. So they're still going to like to go for the A execution. 1 man down, 1 man, well, 2 men weakened, but 1 significantly. Major already holding off mid as well. Does have to watch for Buster rotating over B because they know this is going to go to the A site. Christian's already got him by walking immediately out and getting him cleanly in connector. He's isolated by smoke, so he can afford to be on peak because he's not going to be spotted from Palace as a result of Paz. And he's always low on HP, it seems, when he's the last alive, and he'll get shut down this time. 2 in a row for Avangard.
I think this will be the first eco now for Space Soldiers. Avangard getting into this game. It's not over just yet. They can still win the half, remember. So this is looking quite promising now for the Avangard boys. They get the AKs out. Like we said, 2 of those, as I was explaining in the previous round. Great for going in positions like towards short, facing middle, B apartments, going for the 1-taps means you can go toe-to-toe with the terrorists in terms of 1v1 duels. Double orb setup also, Buster and James, just to note, they'll go towards B Space Soldiers, PD-50s, CZs. 1 Deagle, no armor, no nades, so this should be quite a quick round. I'll see if they can get any sort of damage inflicted here. We have seen a few rounds in this major go towards full eco teams, and kick out with this position. They should be fine. Nice aggressive stance from him. Completely controls middle and the underpass, so they shouldn't be getting much further than that.
Good position. Takes Zantaras down immediately. Had no idea that he was in behind the boxes. Immediately, Kika rotate toward B as well, which is the right position to be. Good reverse shot from Buster, holding on from Cat, takes down 2. James got the other. Double up crossfire in B, bomb down. Paz a long way removed from the action. He'll head toward B now, but in vain. Deagle no armor.
Yeah, good luck with this one. Mirage is a map that lends itself to the Deagle itself. Lots of long-range open duels, 1-tap potential. You can see there's a chance for it. Doesn't quite nail the shot. But with momentarily, there it is, and the final kill comes in. Clean sweep there for Avangard. 7-5 now the overall scoreline. His Buster, nothing to write home about. A couple of pretty standard AWP shots coming through there. Manages to nail them. Calais goes down, denies the bombing planted. That's the main factor there. The fact he denies any sort of extra cash coming into Space Soldiers. They haven't really had the AWP out at all. We did discuss the idea that it's a common misconception in CSGO that you have to have an AWP to have a full gun round. Some teams feel more comfortable with 5 AK-47s and ensure a one dynamic. You can't get as many opening picks perhaps, but still executions can be a lot more powerful with 5 AKs, and it looks like that's what they're going for right now. 4 players towards the A side of the map, 3 at the A ramp, 1 in the Palace, and we have 1 player towards middle at the very same time. That's going to be major as the smokes begin to be deployed. It's going to be Zantaras coming out of the Palace area, and we'll see if they can get anything done here as Jane plays very closely once again with the AWP. Has to go to the CZ.
Ooh, tagged considerably as well. He still plays in the smoke, but can't find the kill he was waiting for. Patience nearly wiped off. Team of 6
dinked multiple times, and then Paz runs him down as well. So the gun's paying off again for Space Soldiers as Major tries to go in late. Buster's missed it. It does take Major off the angle. He bails out on it because he thinks the repeat will come in time. But it does mean problems for Kurzian because now he's got to look toward the front of the site and be a little bit wary of exactly where Major is gone.
Well, looks like the round might be all but over. Buster, one more shot though. He's going to give it his best effort here. 2 versus 1. Paz and Calyx just have to hold in the crossfire. They opt to sit both at the Tetris position right now. He has got an incendiary, a smoke, and a diffuse kit. This is certainly viable for him. Edges in towards the jungle area, but looks like he'll be bailing out at this point. Too much information to gather and a bomb to defuse. Probably the sensible decision here, Matt. And he can save the AWP and just keep the money strong for the last couple of rounds coming forward now. Good work by Space Soldiers. The A execution coming in just when they know the double AWP set up for the TTs. I thought it was a strange maneuver from the other AWP at the very start there, James, who holds towards that A ramp. He had plenty of opportunity to bail out. The smoke's being down there, but pulls out the CZ, wants to sit in the smoke and essentially gives himself up for free. There's the kill right there. Paz takes him down. And it was a nice idea in the round before. I think maybe twice a half you can get away with that, the A ramp. But as soon as you feel the execution coming in, maybe time to bail out. And you can easily get the steps and try and just hold a more defensive position. Double AWP setup again. Like we said, saving the AWP was a good idea. And we'll get into round number 14 here. Mac 10 for Major. I'm not sure that's the correct play. He could have probably got the AK-47. He's got about 2k left over. Opts for the SMG here. There's only one player on a helmet. That's going to be Krizen. So watch out for that as he edges through the smoke in middle here.
So Krizen will still wait to try to see above the smoke deployed and makes it work. Shuffles back over to the left side of connector. It allows him to see the catwalk. Major goes down, on towers again, straight entrance. That's when he plays the best, when he's got the room. Snap accuracy.
And this is why you deploy set pieces, so your star players can get some positional control, get out of positions like Palace here, but not finding the shots just yet. Definitely not going to find them now. Jane with the wallbang shot there with the AWP. Now it's a 5 versus 1. Has nothing to do about this. He does get one kill with the bomb down, as you can see, in the very middle of the bomb side there. He has got a minute to work with here. This would be a huge throw from Vanguard. They gave this one up. A good flashbangs, nice teamwork there, and that should ruin the economy for Space Soldiers going into the last round here. 8-6. Almost certainly going to be 8-7. We'll see what they can bring. Maybe with the T side they can scrap together a couple of AKs and maybe 3 pistols. We'll see what they go for here.
Good recovery from Avangard.
That shot.
Avangard to pull this back as well because remember they were down I think at one point 7-2.
Yeah, indeed they were.
So they recovered this well and definitely doing so with CT side economy and tatters. I always talk about that. That's so hard to recover because more expensive, no bonus from bomb plants.
Yeah, that's why there's an argument to be made. Force buying in the second round after losing the pistol on the CT side at best of 1 especially. In this sort of environment where it's so brutal to recover from, I would say that's definitely an idea to consider. But as we said, UMP's Mac 10s, and they did spot all to be apartments and see a couple of players with Space Soldiers there, but they'll fall back and just hold up at this point.
Buster's positioned well. It looked like the aggression might have caught them out, and Santaris and Paz were both set for crossfire if anyone wanted to get aggressive toward the apartments directly. They're going to throw the similar flash, bounced off the fridge to allow Paz to peek, but it doesn't fool Buster. He reads it perfectly, tries to go with 0 on the play. Can't quite do it, goes for more, but he gets up on top of the barrel. This time he does get the kill, and down goes Engine. It's on to Calyx to plant it on the off-site, back over toward A. He's got Major with them, but they don't have weapons. Mac 10 only for Major. At least the head armor, so if they can win one duel and pick up a gun, massively beneficial. Oh, nice shot! Calyx, the problem is chasing that gun because they'll expose themselves around the corner. Demon 6 going to clean up, and 8-7, then we'll split the half down the middle. Good recovery, Avangard. I say that again because we know, again, this is their best map. Yesterday, their CT side was, I think, problematic. I think it could have been better. They actually did win the CT side against Mousesports, but T side gave them problems.
8-7, yeah. All things considered, that is a very good recovery from Avangard. There's work from Buster. That's how they come to life there towards the end of the half. T-Matic getting a nice double spray down there. So, The game's still absolutely anyone's here. It comes down to the all-important pistol once again. It was Xantera's and Space Soldiers. I guess a slight cameo from them in the initial pistol in the first half. He got 4 kills, which was 3 versus 1 clutch at the same time. Can he pull off the same sort of heroics here in half number 2? We will find out momentarily. We'll have a look at the buys right now. There is no upgraded pistols at all for Space Soldiers, not even a bit of a utility map. 5 sets of armor up against a similar story, but Space Soldiers have a kit and a smoke on engine there.
So 3 to B. Demasic and Buster to hold off A main and mid. It's not going to be a direct B hit with the 3 in apartments. In fact, they're all going to rotate together back towards Antares, who's gooshed up, taken down to 25 from range. He has to play a different angle, have to get out of the window. That's going to allow Kiefer as well to jump up, catches Antares inside of the vent. Easy kill. He'll grab the P2000. Engine is holding off the backside. At least Calyx and Major are holding off the inside of the site. There's nowhere for them to go. Christian finally gets one back, but Demasic has to fight on. And he's got to do it quick and correctly because unfortunately they've lost the bomb toward jungle. A minute and 5, that may not matter. Major, what a great round from him.
Yeah, he's looked solid so far on this best of 1. 3 great shots there. It's a fantastic position to be in. If you can get towards Palace and clear out that area and ascertain that there's no terrorist presence there whatsoever, holding that position, they're unlikely to check it. You've got the USP and you can completely rinse them from that position. Will be Paz doing some fantastic work there, but this was the all-important moment. Major coming out of the Palace, 1 by 1, taking them down. Lovely shots coming through and denied the bomb being planted. That's a big deal. Now Avangard are forced to buy up in the second round here. They'll have Deagle, CZs. It looks like they'll go for an A play here, but they've noticed the bomb is still down in T-spawn, so I doubt a full commitment will come out of this. This is just trying to work a pick. Unless they've forgotten the bomb, I'd assume they'll fall back after trying to work a Deagle kill here.
Aggressive Deagle, as you say, worked that kill. Doesn't really work out for them, but the bomb is in spawn.
They have just legit forgot the bomb.
About the only thing you'd want to try and accomplish this round, get a bomb plant.
Yeah, well,
don't know that it would happen anyway. They never really had the room in the site, to be fair.
It's still nice to bring it with you, you know, just in case. You never know. But maybe this thought, you know what, let's just win this round by killing them all. Send out a message. We don't need the bomb.
Or let's just get it over with and get back to gun rounds.
Well, they're going to full eco now. So maybe they could do that this round.
Certainly are. 10-7.
Glocks, ahoy. PD50.
Really like Chips Ahoy fan? Did you guys have those in the UK?
No, don't know what that is.
It's a cereal.
Okay.
I think it's a cereal. No, maybe it's just a cookie. I can't remember.
Oh.
I'm gonna look that up. You keep going.
I will. There's not really much I can do with this round, Matt. So thank you for throwing me a bone on this one. I get a chance to play that way.
Yeah, they're cookies. That's
okay. Glocks rushing towards middle, and Xantera's licking his lips at the prospect of finding a big spray down there, but he does get punished. These are the sort of rounds where you have to present some sort of discipline, Matt. You don't want to give up too much, but Xantera's, that's fine. They'll have 4 UMPs into the next round here, so expect something a little bit out there, maybe a push towards lower ramp or towards underpass of the UMPs. They do manage to pick up 1 of the M4s. That was Xantera, so now just 3 of those aforementioned SMGs to use in round number 19 here. 11-7. First gun round. Jane brings out the AWP. Busted us to know 16 kills. Rivaling the likes of Paz is on 19. So, as I said, I expect something aggressive here from the CTs. Whether it's pushing B apartments up towards middle, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it'll be mid, at least. Looks like quite a standard round, if I'm honest. And Calyx does go down at the very start. Jane continues that very strong AWP form, as QCat will have a chance to find another kill here.
Tries to. No one's really going to expose themselves after the Molotov goes down on the platform. Major just stays tight. So Calyx down really does give Avangard at least a little bit to work with. And lots of time to do it, to be fair. Minute and 16. Christian will try and get back toward the upper side of middle as well, with Buster above watching the window. Interestingly enough, they don't have a whole lot of information, a bit of control toward middle, but they're going to go back toward B, where they did spot Major behind the van. He's since vacated that position and gone more aggressively toward the catwalk, which will easily catch them off. Buster walks directly into the AWP. No one else heading that direction, at least yet.
The saving grace in the round for them is that B is relatively open, aside from Paz, who's just walked in. Christian could have walked in behind him and potentially caught him off, but he's timid to do so.
Christian. Nice position from him. He tested here with the UMP, can't get anything done. Major, the last line of defense in the deep bomb site, hits another wonderful flick there, but he is fully flashed, and that's where Christian will come into play. Santera is now M4, not in a great position. He will be punished for that. 3 versus 1. Now remember, this is the bonus round for the CTs. Bomb goes down. Engine tried to deny it there with the incendiary. Decent attempt though, but Jane will get out pretty much unscathed, and now Engine looking to cause some damage, maybe just financially at this point. Knows he can't win the round. He's going to rotate and try and find an AK-47, something like that, but maybe he goes all the way back round. Another UMP there, my friend, but just saving that. Not going to really challenge for anything else here. So 3 UMPs into round number 19, not working out there for Space Soldiers. Good work by Jane. Towards that B bomb site, they had to at least find one of those kills that they finally committed there, but nothing really came through. And haven't got right back in the second half now with 3 players surviving, so that's good news for them. Engine 7k. So the UMP always going to be viable, even in gun rounds here. Here's Jane at the very start, taking down Calix. That's a nice scalp to take at the very start. Santera's definitely had the lineup there for a double spray down map, but the AWP is definitely the counter to that play.
Solid entrance on B as well.
Well, this is where the game really heats up. M4s will come out. Calix on the AWP. Same story for Major, so they're going for a double AWP setup as well. It's one of the maps we almost guaranteed to have this in almost every single CT half. It's a very strong setup, especially the long rotations towards that B bomb site. You want to have an AWP setup. Turret mode, but an execution coming in with the looks of things. 3 towards Palace, won't even need execution. This will be a 1 smoke, flashbang over, and here they come.
Good shot back from Christian, but it's the only one so far. Calix, the second off lines up. Zantaras chimes in as well. Good start from Engine.
Yeah, very simple approach here. That is thrown in every now and then by T-side, just to have the surprise factor. It's not some telegraph. As full execution as Zantaras to finish things off. 3 towards Palace. Actually a very common pistol strategy. You don't see it too much on gun rounds, and there he goes. Flash over, send 3 players out the Palace. Even as an AWP CT spawn, the idea is you can blow his head off as soon as the first player goes down. It's all about trading frags and having the surprise factor. But Engine, he didn't really see that surprise, did he? 2 frags at UMP. Perfect situation for that. Christian finally takes him down, but Calix doing a good job there with the AWP. Gets the 3rd, and then Zantaras with 2 frags of his own. And what have we got here? It looks like a little bit of eco for the Avantgarde squad. They win 1 round and then get completely reset. It's 4-1 right now in the second half.
Laying down smoke.
Major again. Gonna push a little bit more aggressively this time toward the B apartments. With the pistols and a potential 13th round for Space Soldiers, it's just again the T side that seems to cost them. Keepers at least starts off with 1 kill. Unfortunately, walking in without much more to work with. Paz is certainly ready. Engine catches out Buster. And I think we do have the round done, Henry.
I think you might be right there. Unless
sometimes wrong.
Usually very rarely, I would say. No, don't be so hard on yourself. 13-8. Calix will find the final blow as they get into round number 23. 13-8. Do or die time, I'm afraid, Avantgarde. Remember, this is a 0-1 game. In the Swiss format, you have 3 lives, essentially. As soon as you lose 3 games, that means you're out of the tournament. You will not be making it to the final 16. And both these teams find themselves in that same situation. 0-2 is a very scary prospect, considering some of the teams in this tournament. As we look at Avantgarde's buy, it's a pretty healthy one. 4 AK-47s, the lack of utility, though. AWP comes out. They have 1 smoke after throwing the initial one towards middle. That is not ideal, and the CTs are getting aggressive there. Zantaras, he's not going to miss those sort of shots. Takes out the AWP, looking for the double, nails it. And that's a 5-on-3. Wonderful stuff once again from the star player of Space Soldiers.
Buster backing off with the smoke still out at Palace. Doesn't have much to work with. Dimasic needs to be the one to open up some space for him by getting a kill at A main.
Oh, he's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. Zantaras is nuts. I mean, he's not even top fragging in this game, to be fair. Paz leads the way on 21, but Zantaras has had some very impressive kills. And he seems to get them in strings of kills.
Exactly. It's like he'll be quiet for a couple of rounds and just blow up. As we go into the 5 versus 1 now. Buster, he has got his work cut out from him, I'm afraid. He has 1 smoke, the AK-47. Luckily, the bomber's on his back, but he knows he can't win this one. What's the play? He's just try and stay alive for 55 seconds. It means he gets no money into the next round. It's not like saving the CD side. You can save your weapon and drop. He actually has 0 in the bank right now, and he'll get $2,400 into the next, if he even dies. But there it is. Engine will take him down. Dire scenes for Avant-Garde. They have $2,400 pretty much across the board, and they're 14-8 down. This is one of those situations where you pick your poison right now. There's no good option. You either go all in and buy up with UMPs and pistols and try and deny match points, or you take a full eco and allow them to get it and try and win 7 rounds in a row after that. Doesn't sound like either option is actually that good.
No, not that viable. Not exactly what you would want.
So CZ, they've gone for the all-in play.
Surprisingly late for the first time out to be called.
The thing is, when the Tech 9 was at its absolute peak, these sort of rounds were actually very viable in Mirage, because you could do the wall of smokes towards A, and the run and gun potential of the Tech 9s going through smokes with flashbangs was absolutely wild. But with the CZ...
Do you miss it?
I miss the Tech 9 generally. I feel like they, once again, unfortunately, like, it's one of those weapons that got removed from the game, essentially. We see it like once, a couple of times a tournament, maybe now. The CZ's completely taken over. It's a shame it gets completely like removed out the meta once it got changed.
It was overpowered though.
It definitely was, yeah. But it seems like the CZ's completely taking the limelight now as we get into one of the final rounds here. And just to reiterate, they have gone all in with the pistols, the armor, and the nades. That suggests a set piece and might not even be required. Calix is aggressive there, taken down by the CZ. Luckily, no weapon recovered and a frag returned. And it's now a 4 versus 4.
Buster instead to a Deagle. Perfectly positioned, easily able to take down Christian, who is making quite a bit of noise inside of mid. James the next to go in the same direction, but aside from smoking off Xantaras, who then throws out a nade, to be fair, so now has given away his own position. Not much you can really do. In fact, the smoke even has a gap. That 4 for Xantaras. He's not going to take the fight. He's called Engine inside of the site. He goes down to Buster, but he's gotten the bomb in the meantime. And Paz will take out James, leaving us with just Buster. Major's on the case.
Well, there we go. All in. Did not really work out. They've got to plan out that map. They'd be okay for this round. They're only at $2,900 now. And it is indeed match point. 15-8. 7 rounds in a row required from Avant-Garde. It looks like they're... Run might be over here against Space Soldiers. Remember, they are 0-2. They will have another life, but it's not a team I predict seeing in the final 16 here. It's great to give them exposure here. It's lovely to see that they get so many viewers and showcase themselves. But overall, it looks like Space Soldiers are going to be running away with this one. Xantaras spots a couple. Good discipline, though. He knows they're going to be weak at this point. Don't let them back into this game. He takes down. Chrisen gets the double kill, of course. He arrives in spades once again. He wants to shut this game down right here, right now. 5 versus 3. Xantaras tagged up, but it looks like it's done.
Still a case in it. If they can open up the A side, Calix is inside of the sandwich, and James getting closer and behind with Xantaras low on HP as well, meaning if he could win that duel, they would be able to pinch, but Calix has decided to change his position, knowing perhaps Xantaras was not going to be able to help Kicker nearly. Finds a double, but couldn't locate Engine fast enough. That maybe just enough to push it completely over the edge. Keep in mind, with Avant-Garde here, there is more Kazakhstani players in this event than Swedish players. Never thought I'd see the day. Buster and James managing to pull this back as well. Major and Xantaras down. Paz the last alive. And the bomb to be planted on the A site. They know exactly where Paz is now as well.
Yeah, a few more twists and turns it seems. 2 versus 1. Paz, top fragger so far for Space Soldiers. Wants to close this out right now, but it looks unlikely. Good setup here from Avant-Garde. You can see Buster on top of the bomb site right now, but a good smoke towards jungle. Eliminates one of the opponents here. And now, if he can find Buster to kick things off, he might have a real chance, but not meant to be, I'm afraid. James pushes through the smoke, takes him down, and Avant-Garde live to fight another day, at least on this map. As we go 15-9, there'll be plenty of money available for Space Soldiers here. 6 rounds in a row now. It's got to concentrate and take each round as it comes. He fought Xantaras at that initial play map. That would be it. 5 on 3, but somehow they recover.
At least for now. But they'll get the AWP out on James. Money's still reasonable for Space Soldiers as well, so there's quite a bit of a hole to dig themselves from. Team of 6 going to be smoked off as well inside of A main.
Pretty standard default that they've been running every single round.
Yeah. Playing a nice tight game. Don't give anything up. Don't take any risks. Wait for the CTs to get impatient and Molotov there, but doesn't do too much damage. Nice move from Major. Doesn't give up his frag. Has to use the smoke, but that's fine. He's still alive. And he gives up 13 points of health there as the smoke goes in towards middle. Could boost above this if they want to. Indeed, they will. Run boost, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay, well, nothing too impressive there, but no presence from the CTs in middle, so at least they have mid control. Bust in towards the palace. Looks like an A split coming through. Molotov towards short. Ideally, you want a bit of smoke there if you're going to be fully committing towards CT spawn and ticket booth. But Zantara is behind them, and he will cause an absolute nightmare. He's going to get both kills, almost guaranteed at this point. The PT1000 can't quite do it, but there it is. It should be all done here. Calyx with a nice three-man spray down to finish things off. The overall scoreline will be 16-9. Space Soldiers go 1-1, and Avantgarde goes 0-2 in this brutal Swiss format.
Brutal indeed, but they get to the 1-1 bracket. This will reset them, and they'll take it one game at a time. Space Soldiers, I still think, can be a dark horse in this tournament. It wasn't perfect. There was still a few issues, but certainly the teamwork was much better than yesterday.
Absolutely.
As they said, communication was off on Cobblestone. They were going one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Today, they had a plan and a good default discipline all the way through. Avantgarde seemingly the same problems. Good CT side. I think, actually, in some ways, despite having one round less, I think a better CT side overall today because they were winning important duels. They were just getting out clutched, but still can't get it going on the
So yeah guys, rest tomorrow.